So I've heard that there's a new best coffee here at the Walt Disney World Resort, and I've yet to try it. So today's the day. And of course, I'm taking you with me. And we're kicking things off right here at Hollywood Studios. Now, this is one of my favorite places to kick off a day where I'm gonna be wandering around or exploring the resorts, because the parking situation's not too bad, and you have so many different transportation options, including the Skyliner, of course, the Friendship boats. We can walk over to the Epcot area resorts and ultimately to Epcot. And of course, we have a lot of buses to choose from as well that'll get us pretty much anywhere we wanna go. But today, we're not gonna jump on the Skyliner, and we're not gonna take a bus. Today we're walking. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about when I say we're walking, we're actually gonna take a path that you can catch right here, just beyond the bathrooms. It might be a little bit hard to find if you don't know where it is, you know, but right beyond this bus depot here is a path. And we're gonna jump on this path today. Now, this path is gonna ultimately take us to Epcot, but along the way, we're gonna pass the Swan and Dolphin, also the Boardwalk. Depending on the direction that we decide to go, we can also hit up the Yacht and Beach Club as well, all before we get to Epcot. And that gives us a lot of coffee options to choose from. Of course, there's Java over at the Swan. We've gotten some good coffee there, but it's not where we're headed today. And there is Carousel Coffee at the Boardwalk, but we're not going there either. Of course, those are far from our only options. There are other places to grab a cup of joe in this area. And then there's Epcot, which will be at the end of this path. And boy, oh boy, are there a lot of great coffee options there as well. But we're not going to Epcot either. Any guesses? Are you ready for your next hint? Well, we're cutting off the path and making our way this direction. This is taking us past the feature pool, which is very quiet this morning. It's kind of chilly, which is kind of a shortcut. We're actually gonna take this path right here to the Boardwalk. You'll see here in a second, it's gonna spit us out just below the lobby area, kind of at that center point of the Boardwalk. See, there's the lobby up there. But like I said, that's not where we're headed. We are almost there though, I promise. All right, you have to have guessed by now, right? Yep, we're headed to the bakery here at the Cake Bake Shop. All right, so the coffee that is supposedly the new best coffee on property is, again, from Cake Bake Shop. We were just over there, and it's right here. The raspberry rose latte. Now, I opted to get it iced because it's a weird day today. I can't decide if I'm hot or cold, you know? It's one of those. Now, this was, okay, this was $8.99 plus $1.99 and another $1.99 for the two syrups. That's interesting. Also, this came in small or large. I opted for a small, which is pretty good size. I don't know how many ounces this is. Oh my God, there's glitter down there. That seems hardly necessary. But let's give it a taste. Raspberry, floral, which it ought to be because I apparently paid nearly $4 to get that flavor. Oh yeah, I definitely get the rose, for sure. Maybe it just needs a little bit more mixing. So on top of the coffee, which we're gonna revisit here in a second, I also got myself a blueberry crumb cake. This was $9. I wanted to round out the breakfast experience, you know, so I picked this up. As you might imagine, like everything else here at Cake Bake Shop, there is a ton of glitter on this because it wouldn't be Cake Bake Shop if it didn't have it. I do have some utensils as well, so let's dig in. Let's see if this is any good. Now, my first experience at Cake Bake Shop, not a great one. We got a few different types of cake and they were just average, certainly not worth the price. And you know, I said, I'm not going back. Not going back to Cake Bake Shop. Just not crazy about how they do what they do. But I'm always looking for a new coffee, you know? Who doesn't like coffee? So I figured I'd give something else a try. Let's see how this goes. It's just not that good. I mean, I want this to be good, and crumb cake is so easy. Oh my God, I'm getting crumbs everywhere. Crumb cake is so easy. I just don't know how you mess this up, or at least not make it good for $9. Man, let's see if I can get a bite with some blueberries. There are very few blueberries in here. This is not going well. I'm making such a mess. It's not moist at all. It's very crummy, which it is crumb cake, but generally the cake itself tends to be not as dry as this, you know? And we do have some blueberries in here, but not a ton. It's a little hard to see, but I mean, it's just crumb cake. Average at best, not even as good as from the box crumb cake. It's too bad. It really is. But now I want to revisit this coffee situation, which the more I'm sipping on it, the less I like it. The straw has completely, like, we're losing the straw entirely. And it's been about 5 or 6 minutes. Oh, look at this. That's a problem. See if I can get another straw from somewhere. But so here's how today went. I walked into Cake Bake and I was like, hey, I hear that you have some sort of like rose or raspberry coffee that's supposed to be phenomenal. Can you make that for me? And they were like, yes. I was like, the one that's on your menu? And they said, yeah. And then they pumped it into their system, and this is what I got. Now I did double check the menu because I had looked at the menu before, and it actually mentions a rose, what is it? A rose cappuccino for $7.99. Now, do I care that I didn't get what I thought I got? No. In a perfect world, what I should have done was looked up the menu on my phone, which shouldn't be necessary, by the way, but, you know, looked up the menu on my phone and then presented it to them and said, I would like this thing, please. But I assumed, wrongfully, that they would know the menu and that they would disclose if what they were making me was going to have additional charges attached to it, like this coffee with a completely unusable straw now. I gotta go get something else. All right, I just popped inside, went over to get a straw from Carousel Coffee. I think we're good to continue sipping on this. So there are a few issues that I have with this experience, okay? First and foremost, I think that your staff should be able to clearly communicate with guests about what they're ordering and what the menu is, right? Which sometimes people have an off day, and I don't have an issue with that. It is what it is. Sometimes they think you want to order one thing and you order something else. I'll give them a pass on that. However, there's no excuse for not clearly communicating about upcharges when a guest is putting in their order. And this isn't the first time that we've seen this with Cake Bake Shop. We saw this during our first visit when we were asked if we wanted a bag for our items, but not told that that bag came at an additional cost until we inquired about it. And I saw the same thing happen to a guest today when I was waiting in line to pay for my order. They're not disclosing upcharges at Cake Bake Shop, and I do not like that. Simply put, it's not good business. And for all of you who are gonna say, oh, but that happens everywhere at Disney, no, it doesn't. It does not. Now, as far as this coffee is concerned, is it the best coffee on Walt Disney World property? No. But it's also not the coffee that people are saying is the best coffee either. And you know, if it was a different day and I was feeling generous, gracious even, I might make my way back over to Cake Bake and order the appropriate coffee, but not today, nah. This experience solidified for me that Cake Bake Shop, it's not just that it's not for me, it's not a good option. It's incredibly overpriced, average, and I just don't like their business practices. It is very tourist trappy. It feels predatory, like it's just trying to take advantage of guests in a prime location to do just that. And yeah, after today, There is no way I'm budging on that. All that aside, this coffee, it's not what I would consider the best on property. It's fine, which for those of you who saw my other reviews of Cake Bake Shop will know it's pretty par for the course for that restaurant and bakery option. I don't know what coffee they're serving up, but it's pretty average, and the syrups are tasty, but they're just flavor syrups. The same type of thing that you can get wherever. Hey, maybe even have them at home like I do, which I will say, this does make me think that getting a rose flavor syrup would be nice. Not, I paid what, $12 for this nice, but it might be nice. Now, will I get this again? No. Will I go to Cake Bake Shop again? Probably not. And calm down, okay? All of you out there who are like diehard Cake Bake fans, we're just keeping it real here. And I know that that can be a little bit much for some of you. Goodness knows, last time I talked about Cake Bake Shop and said that it was anything beyond amazing, some of you had some pretty strong opinions of your own. And that's okay, but keep it kind, you know? That said, there are some great options that you can get if you're in this area. My recommendation for the best coffee on property is over at the Riviera. They've got something that I think is called the Honey Almond Cold Brew, and it is just so good, and at a much more reasonable price point. We could have been double fisting those things for the price of this. And they have so many delicious food options over at Riviera that it's worth a stop. So unfortunately, this was a miss, but I hope that you had fun joining me for a little jaunt around today. You know, even when things miss the mark, you can still have a good time. But I think that that's all for now. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Oh, but before you go, let me know what you think is the best coffee on property in the comments. If it's not this, if it's not over at the Riviera, I want to know about it because I want to try it. All right, I think that's all. See you guys next time. Bye.